What futures contract do you want to go with?
Yeah, oil or gas.
Okay, should we do oil then? Because if you go into CME as well, you should see under agriculture, I think. Like there's cryptocurrency there as well. I think I asked one of those questions a few years ago. Energy, oil, right? You'll see a couple of things here. Quotes, settlements, volume. You see contract, the margins, what's required for you. And let's just jump into the contract specs for a moment. So you want to, I know what the contract size is, but look, if you want to just confirm it. So you hear the contract unit, 1,000 barrels of oil. Okay, so I'm going to use that in my question. Jumping back. We're told that the contract size are 1,000 barrels, and not dollars now, barrels of oil. I know we're talking about oil. I was going to start this question. A company offers its clients the ability to buy and sell oil futures. It's today's date, 24th of April. Okay, whatever, if we get to that in a moment. Contract sizes are 1,000 barrels of oil. Okay. We're going to go with the current price of oil. So you're going to see here on the left a month. I'm going to jump back into the question, sorry, because I don't know whether I said 6 months or 3 months for the contract. There we are. I could change this figure as well. So let's stick with a 6-month contract. So on the 24th of April, I'm going to give you the futures contract for that particular month. We're talking about October futures. See here, 27.51. Notice you might think, why bother with 27.51 when I can buy oil for $17? It's okay, because you don't want oil in June. You just don't want it. Okay, maybe it might be an ideal thing to buy June and you do what's called rolling the contract forward and you do month on month, just in case you get a sudden decline. And you don't want to go this 27 to go down to 17 overnight. But anyway, we're just going to take that 27.51. That's how much it is for a barrel of oil. That's very expensive for June. If you remember in class, the differences were only like a couple of cents, how much it was to store oil. This is telling us to store a barrel of oil for 6 months is costing us $10, over $10. That's very, like, that's 50% of the cost, or almost 35% of the cost. And that's very expensive to store oil when from last month it was only a couple of cents. Anyway, 27.51, I need that figure. Let me put in October in there because I'm going to give you choices and you have to decide which one you're going with. This is just so you understand what I want to go with. 26.46. You don't go with that because the contract would have expired by the time you wanted it, and I'll throw in the June 117.10. Again, you don't go with that, even though it seems you should because it's cheaper. You don't want to do it because it would have expired and you want to be in the contract, so you go with the 27.51. Right, let's go back up here because I have another X. So company buy and sell oil, 24th of April. They received an offer to buy, let's say, does anyone want to give me a quantity in terms of the amount of oil that we want to be buying? Okay, 60,000 barrels using 6-month oil futures. So this is all what's happening today. I don't know if there's any other information. It'd be nice to get a spot price in there as well. You don't have to. Assume that by the settlement date, the futures price is trading at. So do you want to give me a price of what it's going to be like in 6 months' time for oil?
$6.
$6, fine. Okay. And I could have gone the other way. I could have put in $36. Calculate the outcome for this futures trade and explain what risks the trader faced if the outcome is different. All right. Does anyone see, if you've got this in the exam, how you might think there's something missing in there? What do you think could be missing? Not that it is missing, but I've had it in other questions. The spots. You know, when we were dealing with futures, we had a cash market whereby we had a target and an actual. So that was fine if you were a hedger. Now, we're not told anything about being a hedger here. We're not being told if you're a speculator. So the assumption is because we're not given any spots, you are effectively a speculator. And you don't need the spot market because you're not going to actually go out and buy oil. What you're doing is entering the futures contract, and you're going to trade these contracts, and you're going to hopefully, if you're buying, make money on them. And if you don't, it's because you lost money on the prices falling. But you don't take delivery. In reality, if you're trading futures, you don't take delivery because you're going to close out those futures contracts just before the moment of expiration occurs, because you're not hedging. You don't want the oil at all. You're just betting on price movement. So calculate the outcome of that. So here's there's your solution. It's just this here, because we don't have a spot market. So the number of contracts that we have, we want to find out this. This is very same as sugar, the second part of the sugar where we dealt with the futures contracts. We want to find the number of contracts by looking at the amount that we're hedging, which was 60,000 barrels of oil. Each contract was worth 1,000 barrels of oil. So therefore you have to buy 60 contracts. So on the 24th of April, you are going to buy futures at what price? Which one of those are we choosing?
27.51.
Yep, 27.51. In 6 months' time, which we say is October, you're going to close out your futures position by selling, and price of oil fell to $6 a barrel. Because you're selling, you bought high and sold low, you now have a loss, and the loss is going to be 21.51. Okay, how much did you lose? Because you didn't buy just 1,000 barrel. You didn't buy one barrel. You bought the equivalent of 60,000. So we don't multiply that by 60,000, which is the quantity you want to buy. Okay, because what if I had 62,000 barrels? You don't multiply by 62,000 because the futures market won't allow that to happen. So how we set it up this way is, it's your 60 contracts that we just found earlier on, and each that C is your contract size was 1,000. So effectively that is 60,000. That's a loss of 1.29 million. Okay, so you lost 1.29 million on that trade. And you weren't even highly leveraged. Okay, we're assuming you weren't even highly leveraged here. You can see how futures can be quite devastating to a trader, especially a speculator, because if you were a hedger, you lost on the futures, but you would have gained on the cash market. Okay, because you wanted to hedge the current price of oil, which was whatever it is. We just say it was $25. You wanted to hedge that, but you can now buy it at $6 because your intention was to buy. So you made a lot of savings on that, but you offset those savings with the loss. Okay, but with the speculator, you just lost all of this money, and you mightn't even have that money to lose. So the comment here, let's go back to the question: calculate the outcome for the trade, which we did, and explain what risks the trader faced if the outcome is different. Okay, but that implies that it was a gain. Our answer was a gain. Here the risks are evident. Okay, and I just explained that. So I could leave this general instead if I knew that was a negative outcome. Explain what the outcome would have been if the trade was different. Okay, and if the trade was different, it's because instead of $6, we would have had $36. We just say we had a $37.51. That's a $10 gain.